better big man presence. You have Trey Williams, who's the starting
5 points. Yeah, 5.
You have Trey Williams, who's the starting 5. You have Christopher Agbo, who's off the bench. That Jacob Laravia guy, he's promising. He has skill. You just want to see more of a presence in the paint with the team, and that's not really something you see with an Indiana State team. But I really want to see that.
I'm not gonna lie, and with Agbo, I think it's good to have that type of presence there because once he got out there, they started fouling.
Yep.
They had no choice.
Yep.
That's one thing that's good, but he's got to knock down the shots. And if he's not going to knock down the shots, he's got to knock down the free throws because that's one thing, you have to do. He was 1 for 1 on his field goals, though, so that wasn't bad. 1 for 2 on the free throws, that wasn't bad. So I just, I feel like as long as he can do good on defense, he can knock down the shots, he'll be perfect too. Bryson Kessinger, he's got to make more plays also, man.
Yep.
But like I said, Tajay Teague, he did his thing, man. I think that's probably the biggest. That probably was the biggest, dagger to them, their biggest obstacle while they were playing them.
And I want to see, you heard in the interview as well, is the team, when they get down, they hang their heads, and it's like they're kind of down for the count, and they don't want to come back. That's something that cannot happen because that's how your team be's inconsistent. Everything's fine when you guys are up, but once you start falling, who's going to be that player to step up and to just talk? I don't know if we're going to put it in here, but in the press conference he said the team's not even really talking out there, and you have to talk on both ends of the court, communicate. Like, where's that player at? Who's going to step up and be that guy? We're 3 games into the season, but there's a lot of questions that you're asking around that locker room and for this team, who are they? You got to find the identity of the team. Who's going to step up when needed? But luckily, they get to go down to the Bahamas, so they get a little vacation as well as working, a lot of bonding on the road. But yeah, it's a lot of questions you have to ask your team right now.
Yes, sir. You're right about that. Now, Baylor and Oklahoma, man.
What a game.
Now, did you actually get to watch it, or did you hear about it?
I watched it. I was watching it because I like Jalen Hurts a lot, and I was really mad because Baylor was up 28-3, and then they blew the lead. Same lead as the Falcons blew against Patriots in the Super Bowl. 28-3 is a dangerous lead to have in football, I guess.
Yeah, and I think one thing about it is how the Jalen Hurts he went crazy.
He did.
He led in rushing and passing. The man had almost 300 yards passing, and then had the nerve to come out and still have 114 yards rushing.
So 2 for 4 touchdowns.
And I can't give. You got to give. All right, the winning team obviously has to get their props, but the defense is neither one of them was that good to me. 34 points isn't good, and 31 points isn't either.
Yep.
But obviously the winning team got its thing. But the thing with Baylor, man, you
can't blow that at home.
They didn't score the whole second half.
You can't do that.
So you got to kind of give Baylor that defense that the whole second half they didn't score.
The Oklahoma defense, that's how you step up. How much did Baylor have the whole game? 31, you said?
Yeah, so Baylor had 31. This is the thing.
So you gave up 31 first half points.
It was 14-3 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, 17-7.
Yep.
Then the third quarter, Oklahoma scored. Then the fourth quarter, they scored again. And they kicked the field goal. That's 34-31. Wow. And they stopped Baylor all of those times.
Yep.
So, I got to take back what I said, man. Defense, you guys did your thing.
They didn't do it for a whole game, but they did it when it mattered.
That's bend but don't break. You get 31 points scored on you in the first half, and then you come out and then stop them for the.
You gotta wonder what was said in that locker room at halftime.
And this is what makes it even crazier. They're in Baylor with it. They're in Waco, Texas with it. So
Baylor was an undefeated team. They were promising this season, and to have Oklahoma respond like that in the second half in a hostile environment says a lot about the team. It says a lot about Jalen Hurts as well.
Yeah, and another thing that I think people, should take in consideration is just how much the rotation was in general, the ball movement just in general, because you got Lee Morris on Oklahoma with 7 receptions. And then you got Charleston Rambo, he has 5. And then A.D. Miller has 3. And then, like, everybody, like, and I'm going forever. They got, like, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 receivers who got the ball. And then Jalen Hurts killing in the run game. The running back still had 93 rushing yards, but then he comes out and has 114. You know, and he didn't have a rushing touchdown, but he had 4 passing touchdowns.
Yep.
So he just went crazy in general. And then, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like the Baylor quarterback did that bad because he only had an interception. Jalen Hurts had an interception also.
But when you have 0 points in the second half, what
happened
to that quarterback, you know?
Yeah, you know, so, and I mean, the running game looked bad for him too because the running back only had 64 or 65 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, and you would assume that was in the first half along with the 2 with Charlie Brewer. But he only had 65 yards on 17 carries, so they just were getting – it was just bad for him.
Completely flipped the script after halftime. Like I said, you got to wonder what was said in that locker room with Coach and his team, but they did the thing.
All right. Now, another thing that's been going on, you guys, Colin Kapernick.
Yep.
You know, I guess the story, I'm not completely filled in all the way. I'm kind of confused on it, so let me know if it's wrong, Baylee, because I'm sure you know it better than me. So, Colin Kaepernick, he was doing a workout for the NFL. I guess it was 20-something teams coming to see him, and he had it scheduled at the Atlanta Falcons practice facility, and changed it like shortly before it was time
to some random high school.
Yeah,
field.
And I guess the NFL was mad about it. They're even saying Jay-Z was saying, you know, he was doing it as a publicity stunt. You know, a lot of the media was mad about it. How do you feel about it?
I think saying and using it as a publicity stunt, that's not the right thing to say because either way, it's going to get publicized. Colin Kaepernick, the story's been going for 3 years.
Yeah.
He finally has a workout. Media frenzy. Like, saying it was for publicity stunt is stupid. And it says did this hurt him or help him? I don't think it hurt him. I think all it really can do is help him because, I mean, you saw all the strengths and all the workouts he was putting in. Now, it's like he said, it's up to the coaches and the players, or not the players, but the coaches and the owners and the all around the league who's going to step up and take the risk at getting Colin Kaepernick, or at least taking the next step to try and get him. But, yeah, I don't know. I haven't agreed with the whole thing. I thought he should be playing this whole time. I don't understand why he's even out in the first place. I think it's stupid, but yeah.
You know, one thing that I noticed is people are really leaning on just, you know, how they feel. But, you know, you got to go by what you see.
Yep.
And from what I've seen on film, from football skill that I've seen, Colin Kaepernick is still a good quarterback, and he can still play in the NFL. I would like to see that happen. I think it would be great. You know, the man went to the Super Bowl. He played against one of my favorite. I grew up loving Ray Lewis, watching that man. You know, he was a legend. He got to play against him. So, and do good, you know, play against Ray Lewis and do good. I just always felt like what he did, they kind of let what went on with him taking the knee and all that stuff affect the football perspective of it.
And you can tell he's been out for 3 years. He hasn't played a snap in 3 whole seasons. It's insane.
And, you know, I don't know. You know, I just feel like at some point it should be about football because that's what I guess it'll never be about that. You know, because the people,
not in today's age.
People with the money are going to make the decisions, and that's what they care about.
And the people with the cameras and the microphones are going to write the story.
And if they feel like they don't like the person taking the knee, they're not going to go for it. But I feel like if I was in control, I would make it to the point where, you know, it's about football. Is he a great quarterback still? Yes, I'm going to let him play. Now, did it help or hurt him? I feel like publicity-wise, I feel like it's always never a way to win everybody over. Yeah. You can never win over 100% of people. So it's never going to – some people are going to be unhappy. Some people are going to be happy. I don't think it hurt him because I feel like there are some people in these programs. There was 25 teams there. Somebody out of those 25 teams is thinking about football.
And they need a quarterback.
They're thinking about football. They're not thinking about all this other political stuff, him taking a knee. They don't care about that. They're thinking about straight football, and they're going to get them. And so I think it won't hurt them all the way because there's somebody there that's thinking about that, and they'll pick them up. But I think, it's some people he lost. It's some people he didn't win over. So, yeah, it kind of hurt him on that note. But like I said, it's people out here thinking about football.
And it's really only going to tell, or time will tell now, if it hurt him or affect him. If he gets signed or the next step comes out, then obviously it helps him. But if people look at it on the other side and don't sign him, well, then did it hurt him? So it just only time will tell for this one. We'll keep updates with it because it'll be breaking news either way. So, yeah, you'll definitely hear us discuss it more as the time goes on.
Yes, sir. Now go ahead and introduce the next topic for the world.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, we discussed him last week. We discussed the race between him and Russell Wilson in the MVP. And he just keeps coming out here and performing over the top. And I was watching this thing this morning on SportsCenter about it was Michael Vick, and he said sooner or later it's not Lamar Jackson's lucky and it's not Lamar Jackson's just something. This guy is the real deal, and he's showing it week in and week out. The Ravens are on a 6-game winning streak. They just destroyed the Texans, who the week before that destroyed the Jags in London. 41-7 victory over Houston, which is great for the Colts, first off. So shout out to the Ravens for doing that to Houston. But have some stats here. Jackson over the 6-game win streak, 67% completion, 1,148 passing yards, 550 rushing yards, 14 total TDs, only 3 interceptions, and he's beaten Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and Watson.
Can he win a Super Bowl?
That's the question. And can they continue the run into the playoffs is the question, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
So that's what I'm asking you. What do you think from if you take a look at their schedule?
I hope he doesn't win a Super Bowl because that means the Colts aren't going to be in the Super Bowl. But if the Colts aren't, I'm pushing for the Ravens. That's my second team in the AFC right now.
So what you basically think is he can get there, but you hope he doesn't because he's already in the North and the Colts are in the
Yep, because of the AFC, if the Ravens are there, that means the Colts have lost somewhere. The Colts aren't there, so I'm gonna be a little upset. But like I said, if the
Colts won this year, won the Super Bowl this year, can Lamar Jackson win it the next year?
He definitely can get to the Super Bowl if the team.
I'm just
sticks
asking.
together.
At some point in his career, can he win a Super Bowl a couple of times?
Yes, he can.
All right, because that's what you got to talk about when you compare Lamar Jackson to Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson can win some Super Bowls, and it's a good battle between them two right now.
Facts. And the Vegas.
And I love both of them. They're both great athletes.
Right.
They're both good quarterbacks. So it's good to see this happen, but you got to look at it from all sides, man. All right, man, it's time for Dozier's Did You Know? Let's get it started.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Dribbles with the left hand, the three-pointer up, the three-pointer down!
To the 20, following that blocker, what a run!
We're about to take it back.
Did you know that today in 1932, a running back named Joe Kershaw scored 71 points in a college football game? That was the first time it had ever been done, and he went to Mount Union University. So
that is incredible.
That's another team I never heard of, Mount Union University.
In the 1930s, this man single-handedly put up 71 points.
By himself.
I wonder if he went to the NFL. He had to, right?
I would have told him, you guys can't do this. This is got to be a mercy. I wonder what play they were running.
That's what I'm saying. He had to went to the NFL. Wonder if he did anything after that. That's just his one glory. 71 points. That is incredible.
Man. All right, Bucks, Pacers. It's Pacers spotlight time.
Yep.
Man, how you just as far as the Pacers in general, what's the main thing that you've been shocked about up to now?
Injuries.
just how many people has been out in general.